Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm Brienne, and today we are continuing our discussion on how to become a more professional actor and actress. Now, also in my video, I discussed that I'll be talking about how to be a writer, and that's true. But sometimes I have to separate those topics. So I think I'm going to just dedicate a day where I talk about writing, and then my other videos will be either about acting or a combination of the both. So with that said, today I want to talk about a very important topic that I don't think gets discussed very often, but it's vital as an actress or an actor, whether you're in theater or in film or commercial acting. So that topic is boundaries. Now, hopefully, you have your notebooks and your pen or your pencil so that you can begin to accumulate this information that I'm giving you, because it's very helpful to have these things in one set place so that you can refer to them. So, today we're talking about boundaries. This is firstly after saying to ourselves that we are actors, we are writers, and now we're saying we have boundaries. Now, when I was a little girl, I discovered that I wanted to be an actress. I think I knew, before I said it verbally, I knew that it was what I wanted to be. I just needed that time to develop my vocabulary to say it. So the point is, I casually one day went into my mother and I said, "Hey, Mom, I know what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be an actress." And my mom, she smiled because she knew that it was very likely and it perfectly suited who I was as a child, so it was fine. But then my mom casually said something to me without even looking. She said, "So are you going to kiss?" And I was kind of taken aback by that question, but I never forgot it. I didn't understand why she would ask me that as a little girl, especially because I wasn't old enough to be kissing anybody. But my mom saw that she had foresight to see me as an adult actor, meaning a person over age 18 who was acting. And she knew the sort of ins and outs of what that could mean as far as what kind of movies you make and what kind of choices you make in your career. And so when she asked me that, I just looked at her and I said, "I don't know, Mom." And she said, "Okay, well, you might want to think about it." And that was all that we had as a part of that conversation. But years later, over and over and over again, I've thought about that question because I just thought to myself, you know, why would my mom ask me that? And then as a kid, you often grow up seeing movie stars and they're damsels in distress when you're a little girl sometimes, and they're kissing the handsome prince or they're kissing the dashing hero that saves the day. But there's a reality to those things, and that's where we get on the topic of boundaries. As an actor, especially if you're someone who is financially dependent on acting jobs, you have to be very careful about what you say yes and no to. And I'm going to give you another story related to this. So, my very first acting job was for a movie. I was an extra, and there was this girl who I kind of hung out with. We all were kind of hanging out together, and she met a guy on set, and he seemed nice enough, but they didn't really know each other, but they were fond of each other, so they were sort of in the getting to know you phase of the situation. Well, one day during filming, we were in a crowd and they were going to do an overhead shot of the crowd on these stairs, and we were supposed to act like, you know, teenagers who were going into school or whatever. We were just, hanging out, and they wanted us to appear a little rowdy. Well, this girl and guy, who, I didn't really know them beyond the movie set, and they didn't know each other for longer than a week or two. It kind of got around that they were, into each other. And one of the people on the set said, "Hey, why don't you guys be a couple? Are there any, we're looking for couples because we wanted to look like teenage love in this crowd of people." And so they were like, "Okay, we'll couple up." And that was fine. And then they kind of were snuggled together, and I was like, okay. But what ended up happening was, there wasn't enough action in the scene for this person's liking. So he came back out and he encouraged both the girl and the guy to kiss, and not just any kiss. He wanted a full makeout session. And they said, sure, and they did it. Now, no judgment, but I just thought to myself in that moment, she doesn't even know that guy. And we're on a movie set. She's making out with this complete stranger. And there, she didn't even ask for resources to make sure that he was safe, or she was safe for that matter. And so I do realize that people make those sort of choices every day. It's true. However, she well, they were encouraged by this person on the movie set. And as the years have gone by and I've thought about that moment and other things that I've seen, I realize that there are so many new actors who want to be in a scene so badly that they just go along with whatever the person instructs them to do. Now, the thing about that scene is, even though they made out probably for well over an hour while we shot that scene, it never made it to the movie. And not only that, but they didn't get credited in the film, and there was no bump in pay. There was nothing. So they made out with a complete stranger, for no benefit to them. Now, I'm sure, like I said, people do that every day. However, there are rules, regulations, and considerations when you are an actress. And one of the things is that they both could have said no. They were within their rights. No one has the right to tell you that you have to make out with someone on set just because they're in charge of the film. They're not in charge of your body. And I don't know if that young lady would have made that choice if she, number one, understood that she had that right. Number two, if she didn't know that it would in no way benefit her in her career. And number three, if she had known that there were safety measures, such as intimacy coordinators, that help in situations like that. So with that said, you as an actor need to decide what are your boundaries. Now, I wrote down a couple of notes and I just want to quickly glance at them. But the thing that you need to understand is that sexual content is not a no-brainer. It's not something where, it's just a part of the territory and you need to go along with it. Sexual content and the decision to participate in sexual content on film does have repercussions. They have both professional and personal. You may be in a situation or a relationship where your partner is not comfortable with that choice of intimacy between you and another actor. You may feel that it's not something that you want your family to see, or even your future children to see you participate in the future. And I may sound a little fuddy-duddy, I don't know, but I do think that you have to have foresight about these things. Now, going a little further, some of the higher level actors and actresses actually use decisions with intimacy as a negotiating tactic, but it's a little bit harder when you've done all that you wanted to, all that they ask you to do in the very beginning of your career, to come later on when you're higher in your career and say no. Now, I'm not saying that you can't say no, but I am saying that it is a part of the bargaining and collaboration with your pay and things like that. And I also want to just put out there that I'm not condoning being intimate on film. That is a personal choice. It's something that you have to decide for yourself that you want to do. But what we're not going to do is pretend like it's not something, a topic that we don't need to address. Now, another thing that I wanted to write, another thing about intimacy on camera is that it can be dangerous. When you think about these situations, especially when you are not under the consultation of an intimacy advisor, you're not under the consultation of doctors and things like that, it can be dangerous for you health-wise. And so that's another reason why you really want to consider what your boundaries are, how far you're willing to go, where your cutoff is. And also, you need to develop a firm stance on those things and how you're going to respond when presented with those options. Because if you're desperate, chances are you're going to be willing to do a little bit more than you would have done if you were self-assured that you didn't have to do that to be on film. And a part of developing yourself as a professional will help you. Well, let me rephrase that. A part of you developing yourself professionally is what's going to help you to navigate that situation. I hope I said that right. I feel like I still needed to reword it, but basically, when you know better, you do better. Now, one of the things I want you to do today, and I'm actually going to connect the link below in the description of this video, is I want you to go to the website of SAG-AFTRA. That is a union for actors. There are other unions. However, I'm directing you to this one because they do have guidelines that explain your rights as an actor or an actress, especially in situations of sexual content and intimacy. So I'm going to put that link there. They have things such as, they have a PDF called Know Your Rights. They have one called Fitting Room Procedures, Nudity and Intimate Scenes, and then lastly, Guides for a Young Performer. Because I'm pretty sure that at some point someone under 18 is going to be watching this, and there are specific guidelines for people that age, or in that age group as well. So the link's going to be below. Take some time. That's your homework for today. And the second assignment I have for you is to really sit down and write how you're feeling about what I said in this video, because you really need to make those considerations. The questions are asked, especially on professional movie and television sets and commercial sets. They do take time to ask you these questions, but just in case, if they're missing something, if they've overlooked something, you need to be prepared to advocate for yourself. And that's what this video is about. And in the next video, we're going to go move along to another topic which will get you started on the path of your career. What we're talking about next video is headshots. So if you have headshots, or if you need to take headshots, tune into that video. I'll be giving you some really good information, and I'll see you soon. Have a great day. Bye.